All right, we're back into War in the Pacific. And now we've got to December 11th, so we're going to work on the 11th turn. I've had a couple emails from friends just asking to explain a few things and how things are working out. Not too much in the sense of we're trying to sortie from the west coast, and we're heading to, of course, try to suppress some of these submarines. We've been attacked, of course, on December 7th. Japanese fleet last turn ended up over here. Right now, all we can see is a cruiser, but he did do an attack on Midway. And we can see from this overlay here, there's a runway damage of 34 and 23, if you can see in the box rollover. We can go into the base. I don't want to get into too much detail. For new players, it can be confusing. But we can see here airfield service damage and runway damage. So sizable. This is out of 100, so certainly operations have been reduced. That being said, there are not a lot of aircraft here. We have some PBYs, 5 of them. 1 is damaged, and 5 are serviceable, and none are, of course, being maintained. They're looking for some new pilots. I gave them a pilot, but the computer automatically does that. I can tailor that to pick pilots if I wanted to, but let's not get crazy. Supplies are a little orange here. That's something we might want to come into. But once again, let's overview here. Like I said, our carriers are moving along here. We've got 2 carriers, and they're moving southwest. Last turn, he took Tarawa with about 1,600 men, the Special Naval Landing Force. So that's something we want to keep an eye on. South Pacific, of course, haven't been changed. More shipping moving back and forth. We did see a submarine force there, just outside of Fiji, or more properly Suva. West Coast activity going back and forth with our various task forces. These are tankers, cargo ships, and this is a surface group, or ASW group. Dutch East Indies, not much going on here. We did have many interactions here, in a sense, in this area, the Sulu Sea. There's a surface fleet that engaged several of our commercial shipping task forces, causing some damage. Certainly these are, looks like a cargo ship landing force is landing, so I'm not sure if they're going to be lots of tankers too. Could indicate some carriers, and there was a carrier, some battleships over here, and I thought there was a carrier group over here. I think it might be here. Maybe popping into the Palau Islands for fueling, and then maybe be pushing into the Celeb Sea here area. Okay, I don't think as much we can do here. Looks like there's a landing here at Miri, and of course we've got several landings here all along the coast here of the northwest coast of the Philippines, and of course to the south at Atimona. So that's a concern here. We're going to get, I guess, pincered here from the north and the south. Looking for some maybe input on where you think we should hold our line here, whether Bataan or Manila. I'm not sure exactly. So we had some movement here, of course, in the Malaya Peninsula, several landings, not good, and some bombing of the Georgetown area. So not sure where we're going to make a hold here. We might dig into some hills here. You can hit number 1 on your keypad, and it kind of gives you, this is like a jungle road, you know, clear as CLR, mountain is mountains, obviously, MTN I should say is mountains. So jungle's a pretty good defensive mode. There's a river here, so maybe defending here would prevent us from being attacked. You know, we'd have some defensive capabilities, but the forces of the Malaya, as you know better than I, are pretty weak, and we're not going to be able to hold for long. We might try to get the 3rd India Corps off. That's what we were looking at last turn, so we're going to try to work on that. There were some Bettys here that came and hit a lot of shipping here, so that might not be possible. And we're, of course, continuing to flee out of Tavoy and Moulmein here to try to get into the Rangoon area and evacuate who we can and dig in the rest. Okay, so that was kind of just a quick overview. I'm going to go into our, what we call the intelligence screen. And it has a lot of different things here. It talks about, you know, our top pilots. And now that the typing's over, we can talk a little better. Ships sunk, so we can go here. I mean, if you have to, we can go. Let's just see what Japanese ships have sunk. None that we know of. What have we lost? It's several. We could do it by type, we can do it by points, we can do it by sunk date. Let's just do it by the date here. So most of these have all been shown up on the 10th. Oh, we have one here, sorry, from the 8th. I guess we should do ascending, I guess. So we lost a ship for sure on the 8th, we know that. Not all of these, of course, are released to the Japanese players, so we can, some are released publicly, some are not, or some are delayed for, you know, weeks or months. Yeah, so mostly these are cargo ships. We've got support vessels. This tanker is kind of, that was a hard hit. That's worth 15 points. Both of these are large. Tankers are very important. So, part of war, I guess. And within that operational report here, I'm going to be looking at just what we've got here and looking at, sometimes you can look at, you know, what's been crashed, what's happened on landings. But the main things I'm looking for are where are my reinforcements. So these are some obviously losses that have been admitted publicly, so we know the Japanese player would know all of these. So Eastern United States, we've got a VP-72 RAF at Townsville. Just seeing what's on the west coast here. San Francisco in the east. And Fort Ord. So let's just pop over here to the east. It's on an off-map section. We're going to see what we got. Oh, good. It looks like a search planes. We could definitely use that. Never have enough search planes. That's their original patch, too, by the way. I thought that's a nice touch. That have the actual World War II patches for each of these squadrons. So we're going to transfer this bad boy, and I'm just going to put him down to... Actually, I think I'll select on the map. I think we can go right to San Francisco. Oh, and up here you can look at the actual defense values for, you know, movement for defense, supply cost to push supply through the various hex terrains, and movement factors depending on, you know, wheeled or tracked, etc. I like this fact too, what's urban, what's not, and let's explain some of the key. Okay, that's good. We've got that squadron going to San Francisco. I'm just seeing what we've got here at San Francisco. So we want to look, these ones that are called or have R, that means they're restricted. If they're grayed out, we can't buy them ever. They're static, means they can't move, of course. But these ones that are white, theoretically, we could purchase the 2nd United States Marine Corps Parachute Battalion if we wanted to use what limited, very limited political points we have. I think I'll pass on that, but I will nevertheless push that down to San Diego, which is kind of my land base, shipping base, where they sortie from. And we can see that's on strategic move. The 161st Infantry is packing up, and actually it looks like they've already been taken pretty much. There's just some trucking that's been left behind. So we can see that all these units are loading. This is doing a cargo run, and that's automatic. There is an option here. You hit H on San Francisco, and anything that has a yes would indicate ships that are been assigned to the computer will just do cargo runs automatically, automatic convoy pool. And that can be a big help to cut down on micromanagement and to resupply, you know, small, far-flung bases. This one's going to Sitka. So that's great. So I don't have to run around and, you know, stock up everyone's individual supplies. Usually you do that for the bases that are behind your lines, certainly not on the front lines. You might want to make sure those are working yourself. So I think we pretty much, these guys are all active and doing something. I don't think we have... These are what they've targeted. They have, you can build up targeting points. So this means this unit would obviously perform very well at Pearl Harbor because it's 100 out of 100 for planning purposes. But we don't want to send it there, so we'll probably change that to something in the South Pacific later. All right, so I guess we'll let them continue to load up. Gonna pop down to, let's see what's going on in, let's see what I have in the port here. There's a tanker. I don't want to have a lot of shipping out right now because they have really nowhere to go or docking facilities. I do have a tanker. We can always use extra tankers. Pearl Harbor is not the best place to send a tanker right now, but let's get her on the way. We're going to use SO Richmond. We've created a task force. We're going to make sure it's docked, and we're going to load it with fuel. All right, so that's pretty simple. We're going to send that to Pearl Harbor. Hopefully the submarines will be gone by now, or by then. And actually, it's a short endurance. 8,000 is not the longest. I'm going to keep it at Pearl Harbor, maybe port it, and then we're going to maybe use that to constantly ship, put an automatic shipping supply to somewhere down in the South Pacific where we can refuel closer to the front lines. Do we like that pathway? Not bad. It'll have to do. All right, what do we got here? LA, we've got just a few yard boats here. We've got another tanker. That's a small little guy. And he's going to Pearl Harbor, so that'll be interesting to see how well he does. San Diego, lots of planes I've put in here. These are just, I kind of just housekeeping and put any plane in here that I possibly could buy. These are weight restricted, so I can use them. The rest can all be shipped. So I can put those in cargo shipping and pretty much ship them off anywhere. So let's take a look. B-26, what kind of range do we have on that? So these are the ranges, maximum range of hexes that they can fly from a ferrying point of view, 48 hexes. I think that's nautical miles, I think. Extended range, which our normal flight is 11, extended 9, okay, so we can go up to 48 hexes. So I just wanted to make sure where I could park these. I'd like to land them somewhere or package them up, if you will, cargo them up, land, and have them fly the rest of the way. And any area that I can fly to rather than be shipped to is a big benefit. I can't fly them to Pearl, but if I got to Pearl with 48 hexes, we just click on the base and we can see how far can we fly to Johnson Island. Sure, we could. 19, Palmyra, 26, Canton Island. Can we squeeze up? Oh, just barely. Where tanks would be dry, but we could make it to Canton. And we have a 2 airfield, not ideal, but they could land. They're not carrying bombs. They might suffer some damage. From there, we could fly to Suva. We don't have any base forces here at Espiritu Santo, so there's only a 0 airfield, so that's not going to happen. 47, we could make it from Canton to Numo in the New Caledonia area. Or maybe even to Galari if we owned it and actually had an airfield, which we don't. So, looks like we can get to, where can we unload these planes? That's the key. We need to unload the planes somewhere. So, Pearl Harbor looks like it. Now, obviously, when we get into fighter aircraft, we're looking at much shorter distances. A P-40 can do about 21 hexes, so we can get to Johnson. Just trying to figure out, how we can skip these from island to island every day at 21 barely. Palmyra, can we ship that to Canton? 22, son of a gun. Actually, no, I think it's higher. It's 26 for a P-40. P-39s are 21. So we can't push P-39s down here. Now, if we went to Christmas Island, can we go from Christmas to Canton? No, we can't. Shoot. Baker is basically just an atoll. And of course, Pago's way too far. So P-39s are going to need to be walked, or I guess sailed to here, or Suva, or Pago. So that's something to consider. A fighter aircraft is very, very limited on the Americans. They have very little replacements. So it's very precious here. This is the SBU. Yeah, these are dive bombers, I believe. Yeah, BMSB 131. Vindicators. All right, so I'm just going to have them on stand down here for now. Actually, I might put them on training. 100% training at 0 range. And we'll put them on naval attack for training. So that means that 100% of the time, just within this hex, they're going to train. That shouldn't cause too much pressure on their airframes. They're only within a hex. Their morale should be fine, and they can earn some basic experience. These bad boys can go up to 44 hexes, so they're also good to fly too. So I think what we need to do is start getting, I'm going to disband these. These ships have just come in from other ports. This is picking up the 8th Marines. Good stuff. I want to make sure these guys are docked. Obviously, when they're docked, they load up much faster. And already here, we're picking up a P-39. So where is that guy going? We need to make sure that's going to Auckland. Now, we don't have to go all the way to Auckland, do we? No. We could go to Pago Pago, drop them off there, and fly them in. What else does he have? Oh, he has a base force, too. Well, we'll leave that way it is. When it gets closer, we can always separate those two ships. Maybe one will go to Pago Pago, and the other will go to Auckland. All right, so let's make some... let's just see what we can also do. I got to do some shipping here. Do we have anything that we can ship right off the bat? I think the 1/10 is already loaded on this vessel. I think the 1/13 and the 31st. Okay, so sometimes it gets a pain here because I'm trying to figure out what else we can grab here. So we can grab the 1/10 coastal anti-aircraft. Nah, I need these base forces. Those are really important. And the CDET is good too. So let's just see what we're... Just hit escape to close any screens. 8th Marines are here. The 1/10 is there, and the 1/13. All right, we've only got one AK that's available anyway, so AKs can only carry, generally speaking, almost always, they can only carry troops or aircraft. I shouldn't say troops. They can carry aircraft, tank units, things that are cargo heavy. So the only one we have here is the Elko Prospector, and we're just going to grab we're going to load troops, but in essence it's going to be planes because we can't have any troop capacity. So we're looking for something that has cargo capacity that we need or could use. So this one says it's being loaded on a task force already. That does have it does have a lot of engineers. I would like to get that 808 going. I'm going to grab it. We can't carry the troops, but I'm going to start its process anyways. So what else? I'm going to just go turn on only load troops only. Verify the load. I don't think I can get any more ships. Nope. But I can carry 95% of the unit, and that's good enough. And it's got a good range. So I think we can make that run pretty much all the way to Auckland. And drop it off there and let it rejoin later at a later time. No, we can't. We're 6 hexes short. Darn it. So we don't have quite the fuel to make it all the way to Auckland. We got to find a port that we can... Port 2 is what we'd be needing, at least at 2 or higher. I don't know if we can make it to Fiji or not. We can. But let's do some waypoints. Waypoints you just said, just to make sure, because I don't want him going by Hawaii, that close to Hawaii. So I'm going to... Tarawa's here too. So we're going to make him come all the way down and kind of get this kind of bearing here. And we still have the fuel to go there, so we're going to say, and return the same way. So boom, there we go. So off we go from San Diego. We take some waypoint down, hopefully skips past the Hawaii area, it looks like, and then we're going to go into Suva. So that's perfect. Doesn't look too bad. All right, so I think that's the West Coast. Like I said, these turns take a little bit of time, especially at the beginning. I don't think there was anything else that we had. I think we had a unit at Fort, I think it was Fort Ord too, if I'm not mistaken. Let's bring that operational port up here, and let's take a look here. Fort Ord. So let's go to Fort Ord and see. I don't know where Fort Ord is. Let me look under bases. I forget where Fort Ord is. So this is kind of a pain, but I gotta look it up. X220. Right, here we are. So I'm just gonna go in here, show me all the units here. Nothing really good. We could buy this motorized regiment, but it would cost a fortune. But nevertheless, I'm going to put it in strategic move. So pack her up, boys. Use the railway and go down to San Diego. Anything that I can buy, I send to San Diego, or anything that's readily available. Anything else we could use on that? This artillery unit, theoretically, we could buy that too. Send that down. Pack it up by rail, please. And an engineering unit. Oh, that's a garrison, so I can't move that no matter what. Why I would want to buy that, I have no idea. That would be useless. Okay, West Coast done. Let's take a look. There's nothing here in the Panama. I didn't see anything. And let's go at Pearl Harbor here. We still have a lot of submarines here we've got to take care of. Looks like our guys are working their sectors. So I'm not really going to change these. They seem to be doing well. I can show ammo if I want. So we can see the ASW 416 is running a little low on depth charges. But that's fine. She'll head back to port, refuel, rearm. Everything's good. All right, we have a bunch of ships still obviously in port. They're going to be there for many, many days. Some of them many days, many years in real time. But I'd like to get that Curtis out. That would be nice, but we got to wait 7 days for that. And these two destroyers, I'm going to put them on the pier side. Not ideal, but I don't have any space in my dry dock, so we're putting that into... So these are all of our functioning ships. I like to get these, really like to get these oilers out because they're very, very valuable. I'm going to bring the one out carefully. And actually I'm going to bring them both out. They're going to be docked and load fuel, but that doesn't mean... It's a concept I had difficulty understanding, but that doesn't mean they're docked. If a submarine comes in, they can actually get them. If they're disbanded, like in here, they're protected. It's almost like they're in a harbor that's protected from submarines, anti-submarine netting kind of thing. But if you're docked, you're basically on the outside of the harbor, I guess, docked to a pier loading fuel. So I'm going to have them not unload cargo and just sit. Let them fuel up. Might take them a day or so to fuel up, and ideally want to send them down to somewhere down here where we can start fueling up all of our ships that are coming down. I'm making this a gas tank. I can't make it or a gas station. I can't really make it a gas station here. Theoretically, I could put some gas here. It's a level port 2. I could have up to 19,000 points of fuel or tons of fuel, but it's difficult to unload that in a timely manner. And I've got a lot of shipping here coming down the main highway here, so I got to get ready for in a couple weeks. In real time probably, and probably in about a week's time here in game time, I'm going to have to make sure these bad boys aren't too thirsty and push them down to the South Pacific. We got to keep those reinforcements. We got to reinforce these islands down here, guys. We just got to. It's just we just have to. We got to get some kind of bases set up here. Otherwise, the Admiral Urquhart here is just going to crush us here. Last turn, I did see in the combat that he was moving a task force down here. So I'm thinking he's going for Manus. Not ideal at the beginning, but it's got some great stats. A 1-4 and a 0-5. So a 0-5 capacity. It's a 0 airfield, but a 5 and a 9 for building capability. So that's pretty nice ground to build an airfield. And pretty good ground for, or water or atoll area to build a port. Same with Kaving. These are all nice facilities. Of course, the queen of the Solomons is the Rabaul, and it's already a 3 port and a 3 air with good 4-6 parenthesis indicating that either can be built up quite nicely. So this could almost be like a small Pearl Harbor, you know, in a couple months with proper supplies and engineering equipment. All right, so we got Palmyra. I'm just checking what we got here. It's a cargo ship, so we got some supplies unloading. That's great. We definitely want to get these airfields up. We've got to get them up. And I'm concentrating on building fortifications. I'm going to work on the, I think on the port here. The airfield's decent. It's a 0, so I mean it's like a rock. Besides the 2 airfield we have already, you're not going to be building much more on that. It'd take mass amounts of supplies and a long time. So it's probably a small runway. Level 2 is decent. We can run, in a pinch, we can run off single-engine bombers, like maybe dive bombers, and certainly we can run fighters off this base if we need to. And we also have a Marine Defensive Battalion here. Not the greatest, 120 men. Not so good. But we do have 5-inch guns, so I mean it's decent. We could do replacements, but I'm not going to get them any replacements right now. I'm going to save that for all the units right on the tip of the spear, and these are close to the tip of the spear, but not quite totally. I don't like the bombing on the midway either. That was kind of a pain. And Wake Island, I really like to get these fighters off, but I'm not going to get these fighters off. So it's a real pain. I have them at 20,000 feet, and I guess I should get them up on a cap, right? Let's do, you know what, I'm going to go 40%. Might hurt their morale and fatigue levels, but let's get him up just in case he starts flying bombing missions. I have a funny feeling the carriers here, how many are there, I'm not sure, but probably all 6. He's going to come down here and hammer that and make a landing here. We have some subs moving in to try to cause some... This one's going to go right in the shallows, which isn't ideal for submarines, but this one's on the outside. And we also have a max reaction range, so they should hopefully react within the area. So that's good. And I think we also had another sub vectoring in also, so we've got the Argonaut coming in too. So hopefully we can get some hits with our submarines, since he's delayed his initial attack, which historically didn't go over well. And he's going to make up for that with a bit of histocracy and hit with an overwhelming force. Just going to make sure, and I don't have these guys on fortifications building. That's a mistake. So I've missed 2 days of that. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. That's why I'm an intermediate player at best. Okay, so Pago's not a lot of supply. Like, we need thousands of points of supplies on these bases. It's just not going to happen in the short term. Okay, I don't think we've got much else to move here in the South Pacific here. These New Zealand units are all pretty much locked down, or I'd have to purchase, which I can't afford. This is a search vector I have for the Hudson. If you need to see those, it's just you can hit Z, and it usually shows the range. This indicates, I think if I've got this right, the daytime search, and then the evening or afternoon, daytime, and this is evening searches. Or morning and afternoon phase, I should say. They don't do searches at night. Okay, everything seems to be floating around. I don't think we had too much here. We've got a couple ships here, and this is our last, I guess our only South Pacific repair facility. And doesn't seem like we have any of these ships in repair here. So this Voyager just came out, I think, from repair. So I'm going to make that into maybe an ASW task force. We can put 2 ships in there. This, the Walia, has a 4 ASW rating, which is pretty good. The British, which have the best, are like 6 from their Aztec gear. But the Voyager is not the best endurance nor ASW, but it is a full-fledged destroyer, so it does have some decent guns and, you know, some decent anti-aircraft. Going to be a big situation, I think, happening here up in Rabaul, so I'm trying to get these guys to move into this area here. Once again, no fuel. You can see the bottom of the rollover, 200 fuel. You know, you're lucky if you couldn't fuel my powerboat with this kind of amount of fuel available. So obviously the Australians were not anticipating any type of war in this area at the time. So I'm going to have them return up to Rabaul, put them on cruise speed. Mission speed just means you kind of go full flank at night, and then in the daytime cycles you are down to your normal 15 knots. I'm going to just have her swing out a little farther out. I don't like moving up the coast here. Sometimes there are submarines. I could put a waypoint out here, but I'm not going to bother. Okay, just going to see if we've got anything else here we can move. We do have a transport down here. I don't think we have... Yeah, I don't think we have anything that's unrestricted so that we can move. Some Hudsons, Naval, what else we got? Some Whirlways, they're not the best, but in a pinch they'll do naval search for sure. Okay. Townsville is going to be one of our main bases here we're going to use. Going to try to build up this the port facilities here, and we're trying to do that right now. So anyone that has any type of engineers I've been sending over here, so hopefully engineers, engineering vehicles, we can get that built. It'll take days and days. Perth, we also ship a lot into Perth from maybe Cape Town, and you know, from down from the Middle East will come down here too, from the Middle East oil centers. Okay, kind of a big Congo line. Everyone's trying to get the heck out of the Philippines as quick and as fast as they can. Got the Houston here. Lots of fuel here at Balcapan. So I might dock her. I might top her up. I think she's full fuel anyways, actually, to be honest. You know, what do we do here? What do we do, guys? If you have any comments, let me know. Looks like a light cruisers. I know, like, I'm pretty sure there's a carrier here. Well, we could aggressively maybe pop down, sail down here, and try to protect these guys. Some sort of destroyers here. It's a little patrol boat. I could hook up the cruiser with the Pillsbury and the Perry. Make a small little lightning task force here. Find out where he's landing, and then, you know, hammer. It's probably here. I would think this is a really good facility. A 2-3, but that air capacity is a parenthesis 7. So, I mean, this airfield could rival Pearl Harbor's with time. I think that would bring it up to, yeah, probably like a 7 or 8 airfield, anyways. We do a sweep over here? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's going to have a pretty good surface fleet there. I'm going to bring the these destroyers and the Isabel. I'm going to bring them into Battalion, have them disband, and I'm going to actually have my cruiser disband too, just to kind of hide a little bit in the harbor, if you will. Unless he's reconning this specific port, he probably won't see it with normal search planes because they're usually checking the waterways, not the actual ports. All right, so sounds good. Okay, what do we got here in port? These guys are some patrol craft. And we've got some HDMIs, I think they are, but kind of at best, they're kind of like a tuna boat kind of thing. With some basic Aztec, I believe. I'm not sure. ASW, none. No, so they're almost just like patrol ships. So I'm going to move those out of here just to get them away from... Actually, they can't even move anywhere. So you know what? We'll just keep them there, and if I fly over, they might see some shipping there. They might get intimidated by some of these guys, which some of them may go to Tarakan. Tarakan does have oil, if you notice there. It did a refinery of 90 and 90 respectively, and a good chunk of fuel here too. So, and oil resources, which are important to ship back to Japan. Okay, I forgot I had these guys, 3 destroyers here. So let's. Maybe make a quick surface task force here. The Parrot, the Paul Jones, and the Stuart, famous destroyers. No fuel to top them off. Understood. This is a force that really got smashed up here, but they're still floating, and we need to get them home. So you know what? I'm going to try to have these guys merge with them. Meet task force. We're going to merge with this task force. Yeah, we're going to merge. Where's merge? Merge. And we're going to have a high threat tolerance, so I don't care what you do, but you get up and hook up with these poor guys here. And then they'll we're going to keep going to Social Bear because I'm going to need that to fix any of those repairs. The AV is a great little ship. The Langley's great, but it has some good seaplane tender assistance, which is important. So we like that. Okay. Manila, Philippines, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? So he's landing everywhere here. We got 7,000 at least that were reconnaissance, 9,900, 9,300. Holy smokes. I've been hiding my P-40s down here. He hasn't really hit them yet. Actually, no, these are my P-26s, sorry. God forbid what they're going to do. I have no idea. This is looking, sorry, I just looked at the plane. I don't get into a lot of data here, but if I want to see the aircraft data, one thing I like is that it shows your maneuverability ratings. So ideally, this plane, you're supposed to, in our house rules or most multiplayer games, you want to stay within the maneuverability rating at your fastest maneuverability or your most maneuverable rating setting. So in this case, I should be flying under 10,000. So technically, I was not doing the right thing there, but 9,000 feet, you know, now zeros might be at 20,000, so they might bounce me that way. So that's kind of designed, I guess, to make it a little bit more realistic. Probably doesn't have any oxygen on that plane, so I shouldn't be flying at those rates anyways. 3,400 men here, right? So they're just a couple of hexes away. And the 51st Filipinos, we're going to fall back to Batangas. I think let's hit number 1. That's a clear hex, so that's not usually somewhere we want to make a stand. I think we want to make a stand at Manila maybe, or Bataan. Okay, so we're not going to move him because he's providing air support for these planes, which I can't take off, so that's that. These British Vital Beasts, they're good planes. I think I want to try to save those. And they are not attached to the Filipino command, so I can put on some drop tanks, which gives us a ferry range of 23 hexes. So let's see, 23, what can we go to get out of the trouble? 25, 24, shoot. Just want to see who has a base force. Is there a base force here? Yeah, base force and a level 1 air capacity. Let's try this airfield here. Not quite into the Philippines, but we're going to be somewhat of the harm's way. So we're doing 100 cap. We can buy these guys. I'd like to save them if I could. How much do they cost? 12 points. But see, that's if I stay within the command. It's restricted, so no sense attaching myself to that. Means I can only stay in the Philippines to fight. So I'd have to pick a different command. ABDA's kind of in the area. So if I clicked on that, that would cost me 50 points. Yeah. Something to consider anyways, I think. Let me know if you guys think otherwise. I'm going to keep them in theater for a bit, and then we'll retreat them back down here to Cagayan? I don't know what it's called, but sorry if I'm butchering that. I got these big B-17 big boys here. Could put them on naval attack. You know what? Why don't we try? In our house rules, like historically, they couldn't fly much under 10,000 feet for naval attack. So I'm going to put this guy on complete naval attack at 22 range hex, which is pretty bloody far. So that's lots of our opportunity to launch attacks at numerous targets. We'll keep the rest on. This one went there. I don't remember ever hitting something, but it did go port attack. There's only one of them. I'm not sure if the rest got shot down. I don't think they did, but let's keep him on naval search. There's only one of them. And we'll keep him at 15,000 feet on search. This guy's, yeah, there's 8 of them. I'm going to put him on naval attack, and we'll do, say, 20% search. So that's, actually, we'll do 10%. That usually means about 3 aircraft will go. Every 10% is about, actually 10% of each. Yes, I guess that's 0.8. And we're going to go 10,000 feet. Let's see what we can hit. Now, I notice there's a, something in port there. We don't know. And he has no airfield. You know what? I'm going to change this guy. Let's do secondary naval attack. So the commander will see if there's any good naval attacks to hit. But we're going to have him, let's hammer this. See, I don't know if hammering is the right word, but let's hit that port. Take off the search. And the lowest I can go down to is 10,000 feet in our game rules here. Let's hope Lieutenant Colonel Combs can lead a nice mission over there and hit that port. That reminds me, I think Hong Kong got hit heavily with nighttime attack there. Nothing I can do much here in Hong Kong. Actually, we can work on expanding our fortifications, which they are. Mind you, it's a level 3, so now this is decent supply. This is what we want to see normally, 16,000. Fuel, wow, 106,000, so. And all these have points down here you can see that are objectives for Hong Kong, so 84 out of 100 is pretty darn good. And, you know, they'll fight their best, obviously. Okay, any movements here? These guys are retreating. We have them on combat move. I don't want to put them on move. I think that puts them at a disadvantage. Keeping them in kind of a combat formation, they at least slowly, they're going to get pushed off, I think, anyway, so, but it will reduce the casualties. These P-40s are training. I think the airfield got hit, didn't they? Yeah, the airfield got hit pretty hard. 57, so let's, gee, can we move them somewhere else that's safer? Clark Field's pretty smashed up. 70 service, yeah, it's all smashed up. Manila's got some damage too, right? Not too bad. I guess we could pull him back too, why not? combine all of our forces, I guess. Put that on Manila. We're going to put them on escort, 100% cap, 0. And I think their airplane, I can get that so they can perform the best at, oh no, technically under 10,000. Huh. So I've changed that so on this mod, so technically we should be operating all of our fighters at 9,000 or under. Okay, so I set all of our fighters at 9,000, so it's a nice micromanagement thing. If you have like 10 or 15 fighters, that can make a difference. Now, aviation support, we have 59, and we only need 49 to keep these guys running. A recon flight there. I think I'm going to recon that. Maybe we can get some pictures that'll help that B-17. Probably not this strike, but maybe tomorrow on the 12th, if we return, we'll have some fresh reconnaissance information for them. Got some nice tankers here. I don't like to see them get lost, but I'm afraid with all these surface ships flying around, it's not so good. We're retreating from surface combat, so let's just move him over to Palembang, and we're going to go that way, return there, and I'm going to tell them high threat tolerance, and we're taking a direct course. Don't fool around. Get to Palembang, no questions asked. Let's see, this guy's retreating too. Same idea. We're going to change that to threat tolerance high, direct. Turn to Social Barrow. Alright, there we go. Just want to see the pathway. Problem is they're all going to the same pathway. That's probably not a good thing, so these sharks are going to find them quite easily. Now we got some PBYs here, but they're a little low on supply. I don't like that because I don't want them to get, if there's damages or repairs that have to be done. So I'm going to try to find somewhere that has a little bit more supply. Not much, mind you. Does have some aviation points. So let's move this guy. It's a nice patch. He's going to move him over to Puerto Princia. It gives us a little bit decent, you know, range, 20 hexes around. I mean, depending where they fly. I don't like this flying. Let's go down this way if we're going to go to Balikpapan. Thank you very much. All right, so we've got, I forgot to check on this. We took some men from Port Moresby and some of the units. I think we can see that, yeah, we can see here 100 and 1,300. Wow, it's like 1,700 men on that ship. 133. They're like 1,300. We're trying to rush things to Rabaul to try to get people on land there as quickly as possible. Here we have the 49th Australian Battalion, and that's coming from Port Moresby, if I recall correctly. And we also have some Amphibious supply ship. That's kind of the icon for Amphibious. So we're going to dump as much as we can on the... there is a port here, but sometimes with lower ports, usually 2 and under, using Amphibious on your own port can help unload. Each port rating has a certain amphibious capability, depending, of course, on many factors. But to keep it simple, the higher the number, obviously, the faster you get a load. Also have the Louisville sneaking up here, too. So we're looking to... I think she's going to pull into the Fenny Islands. And I'm just going to sit there and kind of hide a bit and see what's coming down here, where they land. I mean, these guys kind of race down the peninsula to here. And then if we can get a little... barge or small transport, we can transport them back. Mind you, it's a 0 port, so it'll be pretty slow. Okay, Sojibarra, big port here. It's a level 7, so you can't get anything better than that except make a Singapore maybe, which won't last long. So we got a light cruiser, some really thin legs on some of these, or short legs on some of these ships. They don't have a lot of fuel. Let's put the Trump here together. Got a little bit of a task force. We could change the commander, but it's a Dutch fleet, so you're not going to get too much. Usually we want good naval, good administration, decent aggression. So we could go up to the rear admiral, but I don't think it really justifies it necessarily. For the political points to change the commander, I don't think we need that. So I'm just going to put it on cruise. We want to preciously save as much fuel as we can. We'll pull into here. Top up the tanks, I think, for now. Got some patrol planes out. I always like to have my patrol planes as as much as possible. This is an AD and an AG. That might be good because these are like repair facilities. The AD's a destroyer, specialty ship, and it can reload torpedoes and whatnot. It's unloading supplies. I don't think I like that, but I'm going to disband both. And then go in the port, and I can say load tenders in the list. And they'll try to use what they can, and we'll try to load them up. So this is the operational point. So they took on as much as they can for that day, depending on the activity of the port, how many longshoremen were available, etc., etc. And the Gemmin 2 took up almost 70% of its operations to get its capacity. I think they're pretty much full. So these guys will now be able to, any ship that comes into port, they can certainly help, destroyers and smaller ships with small basic repairs and resupply torpedoes and depth charges and things like that. So even though the port size is already pretty decent they will help to that ability to do port facility type tasks. So that's a good thing. If you want, you can even go into the port and it'll give you a rating of rearm level. So for the bigger ships, there's a chart in the manual you can look at, but it's various on different things that happen, naval support, longshoremen, all that kind of stuff, will indicate how much you can, I'm not sure, but certain, say for a Dutch ship, this could load up to a 4.7-inch gun, and of course anything below and under that, ancillary, depth charges, stuff like that. But maybe it can't do a 5-inch gun or a 6-inch gun. So these are some numbers you might want to know about a little bit. I think that can do pretty much all the destroyers that I need, and I think torpedoes. But it might not be able to do, say, a Houston, and it's 8-inch guns. So it might not be able to do the Houston's 8-inch guns. Actually, I can pretty much guarantee it won't. So once the Houston discharges its weapons, it's going to need to fall back to a larger port to rearm. Or we have to increase the facilities here or get even better ships that can do that. Not likely in the near future, for sure. Batavia's got a lot of shipping here. I just want to see what we got. It's all a lot of Mickey Mouse. Oh, no, not Mickey Mouse here. Some of these long, 13, 14,000 transports are really good to send to the West Coast or to Cape Town to get, I'm just going to rank these based on endurance. I'm going to make sure that these are out and about. And these 17 knot cargo ships. And they can also carry fuel. These are, those are great ships. Definitely want to keep those around. Should we send them to Cape Town, guys? I guess maybe. With a bit of fuel, 145,000 tons. We can suck off of that, I guess. So let's just have them head back to Cape Town. Actually, we don't really need a lot of fuel. We've got Palembang, but certainly the port facilities aren't that large at Palembang, so I can't totally stuff it with shipping. Port capacity is a 4. It's already expanded, so a 4.1 parenthesis, that means the highest you can go is a 4. So if this was a 2 in the parenthesis, not only does it indicate how fast the port can be built, it also indicates how high the port can be built. So if this was a 2, it could go up to a full size of 5. 3 would be 6. 4 would be 7. So we can't expand the port, but we are building fortifications. So another little task force, Dutch force, not bad. And why are we unloading fuel here? We don't want that. We want to load fuel, thank you very much. And we probably want to push this down here, maybe down to Darwin or somewhere we'll desperately need fuel. So I'm going to put that down to Darwin. Matter of fact, I'm going to set up some waypoints. I'm going to set the computer up to do this all the time until I say otherwise. So we're going to come down, sneak through here, put a waypoint there. And I don't like that's a little too close. Let's push down. Maybe a waypoint out here. If he does get bases out here, obviously we'll have to change that. And then sneak in there. That looks good. So same route, return. Yep. And sounds good. So I'm going to put this on. Thought I could do that as a CS route, but I guess not. There's a way, maybe when I get to Darwin, I can set it up so that it runs that route continuously forever until it gets damaged or stopped by the human. Okay, so let's go back to Batavia. We saw a lot of nice cargo ships that were multi-purpose and very fast. They had, what was it, 17 knots? Let's go to those bad boys. Here we go. They're all the same class. So that's a good thing too, especially if you're moving a larger fleet. You want, ideally, the speed should be the same and the cargo capacity to be the same. And these are slightly off, but barely. And that allows them to, you know, pull into port, rearm, and leave as quickly as possible. So you want to be as efficient as possible, especially when you're, you know, crunching numbers and you're trying to get as much supply in and out as quickly as possible. Having ships of all different sizes, you might have, you know, 5 or 6 ships just sitting there doing nothing on shore leave while the one's unloading for the next, you know, 2 days. Not the best way to run a small shipping fleet. I like this range, though. I just don't know. You know what? I'm going to send those to the West Coast. It's going to be some time till they get there, but they're just too fast, and they just got decent range. So probably going to, you know what? I'm probably going to bring them down here, and I'm going to just make them go to probably, we'll top off the tanks at Auckland, and then head to San Diego after that. Another thing you can do also is, you know, if you want to put a little note here, because, you know, when this is like, I don't know, September in real time that I get to this, I'm going to put send to San Diego. Okay, so it just sort of reminds me that, okay, where are they going? Why are they going? Obviously, you can keep track on a spreadsheet if you want to get into that detail, but I'm not quite that level here. I grab some of these AKLs, and I'm going to grab them so that they can go to the Palabang and just start taking up that fuel. So we got some little tiny guys here. Because shipping should always be working, right? It should always be in movement. Well, if it's safe to do so. The more they're working and bringing support in or troops in, assuming you have the fuel, then they're providing, you know, enhancing your capability to stop the enemy. What else can we get in here that looks good? There's some other transports there. We're going to grab those. 12,000s, that's all. Those aren't too bad. The rest already have a task force. So these are a bit larger. They've got some decent legs too, so I may get a lot of supply here. I'm going to grab some supply, and I'm going to dump that down to maybe Darwin. Here's a port facility. I can dump them down at Townsville here. And then I'm going to make their base, say, Auckland, I guess. And then we'll decide what we need to do after they've dumped their supply on Australia proper. The smaller ships can send that up to the Solomons where there's a greater risk of attack. And that's not CS, so I can see that I'm running this from, I think it's from Singapore to Colombo. It just means a continuous service or something like that. Oh, didn't even know we had 3 cruisers here. We had 3 British cruisers. Missed that last turn. Bad. So these are some older mid-war or pre-war. I'm not sure exactly, but they're... Actually, no, they don't look too bad, actually. Just a little slow. They've got some anti-aircraft. No anti-SW. Anti-aircraft's pretty low, too, so... Let's see. Well, we're going into Miri here, so he's going to have cruisers. There's a cruiser. CM is like a mine cruiser. And a bunch of cargo ships. I can guarantee he's probably got some surface ships around. But you know what? Let's be aggressive. What kind of captain do we have here running the show? 60's pretty good. Not bad. 50 aggression. Alright, let's go in there. Let's race in. I think this is probably maybe a little bit of a mistake. He's got a bunch of battleships up there, but let's pop in quickly, do a quick run. And then we'll go full speed at night. And then we'll fall back to Palembang to maybe refuel or use that as a base to intercept other shipping in the area. I don't like that coming out to sea, so I'm going to say I'm going to want them to hug the coast. I'm going to say coastal so we can sneak in a little bit. Maybe might not be seen as much by the search planes, or certainly might not have subs in this area. And this is not good with this big fueling session going over here. Those are very important. We don't want to lose those. Gee whiz, where do we go? Where do we go? I almost want to port in here to let this kind of die down a bit, or split the force up, or have those cruisers join up with these guys. Decisions. A lot of little patrol boats, nothing too... But these two oilers are very important. You know what? I think I'm going to bring them into port. This is the worst port, so I'm going to go in here. Hoping that he won't be landing there anytime soon. Make sure that's definitely direct absolute, so I don't care what you see around you, you're going to drive in there and you're going to disband. Forget about unloading cargo, there is none anyway, so auto disband, they're going to completely disband and hide in the harbor. We're going to make these guys sweep the area, hopefully they're still alive when they come back, and pop into this port, auto disband, and whatever's left, hopefully they can escort these guys back at a happier time. Oh, we got Singapore here. We got a couple destroyers here. That's not bad. So where is the... Yes, okay, so the Prince of Wales did make it back. She's fueled up. That took a lot of supply. So we're not going anywhere. At least not the heavies. Because they've used up 100% of their operational points. They don't have the greatest endurance. So, and one of them's got some damages. So, you know, I think... Do I disband them? They could get hit by the harbor here. I'm going to disband them. I'm going to put the stronghold, I'll put it on the pier side. So she's going to the pier side. She's going to fix up there. And I think I will keep, you know what? I'm going to bring the rest out. Definitely a target. You know what? I'm going to leave them in port. I'm going to bring out the light stuff that I can. That's not, I can still move. Something like 150s aren't too bad. Alright, so these guys have some capability. You know what? I might bring them down also to help out. Down in this area too, just to see if we can help bring in those precious oilers. Those are really important. So we're going to go there full speed at night, and we're going to auto disband. And if we run into something, we may engage. So that's going to happen. Prince of Wales here, and the repulse. Geez, I wish I had some fighter capability here. Not much. Well, I got a little bit long range cap. Forget that. Now Prince of Wales is in-house. We're going to make sure all of our fighters, all fighters are now at 100% cap and within range 1. And so be it. I had some notes here in my post-it on the monitor here that I had some guys that were flying, some Belheims were doing some long-range combat attacks. We don't want that. Okay, naval attack. We don't want that, no. And we certainly don't want to be flying at 15,000 feet. Generally for naval bombing, you want 6,000 feet. Anything lower, you're going to have to take a morale hit, which is fine. You get better accuracy, but my morale's already at 48, and we've lost a few planes out of this group. So I think I'm going to leave it at naval attack at 20%. And I think I'll just keep it within very short range. So we've got that within 5 hexes. I don't think, but if these battleships come down, which they could, 1, 2, 3, 4 battleships, 2 cruisers. Yesterday in the combat, that showed 5 cruisers. So obviously there's some differentiation on what they are. Got some light rain. Where are you going, Sorjabera? See if we can get some of these subs over here to help out. We do have a couple subs in the area. The sailfish or the swordfish? A float plane that we were trying to get out of here. You know what? I don't know if he's going to have any capability. I'm going to put him on naval attack just because I want them to be within maximum range, basically 1 hex. So they'll really concentrate on this area. Maybe we can get some lucky bomb hits. I'm not sure what Brunei has for... Well, they do have some aviation support. Go figure. I just don't want to waste any naval search capability. The Dutch have very few search planes. He's on naval attack. I don't want to do that. So maybe we might slow him down. Maybe we'll get a couple of hits here. I'm not so sure. I'm going to bring these guys down here to see if we can pick anyone off. Put them on one range Mac reaction, so hopefully we can come down. Maybe we can intercept something here, get a lucky hit. Where's this guy going? He's heading over there. I'm going to separate two of these. Usually you want to have one or two. I don't think, in the old days it was just one was ideal. If you had more than that, it was kind of defeating the purpose or not giving you any more significant advantage over one submarine. But I thought I read somewhere you could put multiple submarines. Let's just put him over here. Just light the place up here a little bit. Try to protect these guys. And you know what? I'm going to just even make it more confusing for him. I'm going to split these guys up. One oiler goes one way, and the other at a different port. Alright, so we're going to split those up, make it a harder contact. Okay, Georgetown was an issue. We had a bunch of ships hit. Our fighters are, wow, 16 are damaged. Pretty much shut those down. Ouch. Admiral Urquhart's been using his Oscars, so he's got complete air superiority on this this area. Trying to load some guns here. So he's white. I'm trying to load these anti-tank guns. I'm trying to get the 3rd Indian Corps off the... But you know what? I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to... I got to cancel the unloading here. And tell him to auto-disband. He just barely started to load anything anyways, so... This guy's unloading some precious supplies, but you know what? I'm going to disband him, put him in the harbor. It makes it a little bit safer from my perspective. And we got more units moving into... I just got off the rails, so they're on strategic movement from Singapore. And we can walk across this area. We hit W, and it kind of shows... Whoops, I guess I have to move them first. You can hit W, and it'll show you who owns what hex size. So it's green. That means it can be crossed by land. Water, obviously, is water. And different hex sizes are controlled by different people. In this sense, unlike a board game, you know, this is disputed. It's green and red, so nobody really owns this hex size. This can be a factor where you're coming across from different sides, or you have to go across a river. But right now, at this stage of the game, I don't think you have to worry about that. But it shows who owns what or what's disputed. If it's blue, it can obviously be hit amphibiously. Palembang's a unique one here. You used to be able to come in here by water, but I don't see any blue areas here, so I could be mistaken. Okay, so what can we do here? Georgetown, I don't think that's it. I've got some transports waiting to pick some things up. But let's pack these boys up, make sure that they're ready to go. I don't want ships sitting on the side of the dock where they can be easily spotted or submarine attacked. So that one's rail restricted, so I need to unpack him. You're ready for combat. Combat, and of course the fortifications. And sorry, there was a few here I wanted to move. These ones, most of them just railed up. So we're unpacking them, and these base forces are going to Georgetown. So I could put that always, just to do it quicker, I could say, instead of going through each and Sigit One, set all to this operational mode, so that's move. And set all to march to the same location, which is Georgetown. Now some of these I might have actually wanted to keep to stay, because if I can't, I can buy all these, right? So anyone with 3rd Indian Corps, we're going to try to get out. How appropriate by their badge, their patches. Looks like some kind of older ship. I think I need to get on a ship and try to get over to Port Blair. That's the plan anyways. Okay. Everyone seems to be moving. I think everyone that's in Singapore is going to be standing in Singapore. Grabbing as much fuel out of Singapore. We don't want the enemy to use that. Alright, and I think all of these guys... I'm going to put them all on Singapore, set all. That means that'll make their objectives, so they'll start earning preparation points for securing Singapore, familiarizing themselves with the... And I can just do a quick list. Is anyone moving? Combat, combat. Yeah, this chap's moving. So 3rd India Corps, that's good. And where's he moving to? Because he should be railing, so he should be doing strategic rail. And we're going to go all the way up there. Alright, I'll make it faster. And Ecor, you're on move. You shouldn't be on move either. You should be on strategic. Trying to get that 3rd India Corps off from Georgetown. I don't know if they're going to make it in time. I could have maybe sent them down to Singapore and had them leave from Singapore. Might have been a better idea. Last time he went through and kind of didn't make Georgetown a major issue. Something tells me this time it's going to happen. I don't like having aircraft right on the coast here, especially with battleships around, because they can land, and not land, but bombard it, so I think I may pull these chaps back a little bit to maybe Singapore. Let's increase the search strength. Ragoon, let's see if we can get any chaps off here. Here's the Flying Tigers. Loading troops, pending, loading fuel, good. Some buffaloes, let's make that like range 0. P-40s, range 0s. Okay, let's get Pappy Boyington and the Flying Tigers up. And here's some of the other ones here too. They're training, but you know what, let's do a little bit of, we can do a long range cap, say 30%. Within a range of 5 hexes usually, so that should be able to take us over Ragoon, so we can give them a little bit of cover for our boys there. And the escort, long range, say 30%. Target area, Ragoon. Let's look at what's going on Colombo. I don't like that. There's a red marker there, so we're short on garrison people, but that's okay. We got people moving as quick as we can. I think they're on the move. These guys are on the move also, or not packed up yet, but they will be. Does this have any garrison needs? No, it doesn't, so let's have them pack up on the rail and have these guys do the exact same thing. Hopefully the Japanese don't land on any of these other ports, because we're sending pretty much everyone to Colombo to make sure that it's no partisans or uprising, civil unrest is happening. This is a nice tanker. I'm going to load some fuel, and then we're going to go down to Perth, because we need to keep Australia wet with fuel. We're going to come back to Koken's going to be my different base. I was using Ceylon a lot in the last game, but I'm just going to mix it up a little bit in case Admiral Urquhart is coming back to hit me in the same spots. So Koken's going to be our new base, if you will, on the India subcontinent. Some AG here. Pretty small one, but let's see what we can do here. If I can load any of these troops, I'm going to try to load as much as I can. A little bit, but 6%, but a lot. But we're going to go back and forth and help build up Port Blair, which is going to be another barrier island, if possible. Okay, what do we have in Aden? A couple transports. Nothing new came in there. Nobody's up in Yemen. Karachi's always a big port too. Let's see if we've got any shipping here we can get rid of or send out to be more productive. Thought I saw some. Let's check out the endurance listing. Yeah, so these guys are pretty big ships. grab all these actually and just send them down to Koken. And we can, you know, supply the Indian, you know, the Bay of Bengal there with various supplies. All right, so they're going to go there and disband once they reach there. Bombay, got anything going on there? No, it looks like just a cargo ship is unloading fuel, which is fine because there is factories in India that need fuel. So I think that's pretty much it. I think we're okay. Something I always like to do is to check my aircraft carriers at the end, just to make sure we haven't overlooked anything. Because you make one mistake on these carriers and you're done for months in the game. So let's just take a look, make sure we've got them. Everyone's got fuel. Sorry, this is a little loud. I got to turn that down, but decent squadrons, so that's good. And you know, I think they have a little bit more anti-aircraft and more cruisers here. So I'm just going to slide over one of these Helena, St. Louis, or the Honolulu, or I think there's a Helena too, but she must be in Pearl Harbor. So I'm just going to go transfer, and I'm going to grab our buddy. I'm going to grab anti-aircraft, so St. Louis is really high, 512. I think I might just send that over just to even things up. So on this task force, we have anti-aircraft point of 3,100, which is pretty good. And this still has quite much larger, 4564. They've got a lot more destroyers too, so maybe I'll transfer over a destroyer or two here. There you go. So a little bit easier. We got 14 ASW, 3,300 anti-aircraft, 30 and 4,300. That's good. 88 torpedoes, 244 torpedoes. Wow. Okay, so it looks okay. Looking good. I think our other carrier was what? I think the Saratoga. Where the heck is she down here? So she's looking pretty good too. All right. You can look at our shipping availability, so we can look at that just to see who's coming in when. So we can see the Hobart, some things in San Diego. Okay, looks good. Nothing too exciting. We can, of course, look at carriers, which, of course, there aren't very many carriers coming in anytime soon. Except for, you know, these, we've got 2 carriers in this foreseeable future, basically just one coming in. After that, you know, we're going to be, the Japanese are going to outgun us pretty much even when these 3 are on the board, assuming we haven't lost any. So we're going to be certainly at a disadvantage for many months. Okay, I think that does it, guys. If you have any questions on the strategy or ideas, preferably let me know, because I certainly would like to know how this is going. Like I said, we just finished a 2-year game, so we're going to continue this for quite some time. Admiral Urquhart, or Rick Urquhart on Facebook, is a great opponent, and always letting me know how he sees things from the Japanese perspective and help me to be a better allied player. I'm certainly not, at best I'm an intermediate pale player, so I'm certainly not an expert, but it is a great war game, War in the Pacific, and it's probably the best money spent per dollar per hour of gaming. All right, thanks so much. Take care. Be safe.